The UK is not only famous for its museums and libraries, but also for its eerie bookshops. Many bookshops, often located in centuries-old buildings, are said to be haunted by former owners, ghostly readers, and mysterious shadows. Visitors have reported cold spots, strange noises, and books moving on their own. These haunted bookshops add a spooky charm to the UK's rich and mysterious paranormal history. Now we will discuss the most haunted bookshops in the UK. Number 1. Jarndyce Antiquarian Booksellers. Jarndyce Antiquarian Booksellers, sitting across from the British Museum in London, is more than just a place of rare books and old pages. It is known by many as the most haunted bookshop in the UK, where strange things happen often. One of the most famous ghosts is the Crying Maid. She appears at night, weeping in the history section. Some say she worked in the building long ago and died of a broken heart. People hear soft sobs even when no one is there. There is also the phantom customer, a man in Victorian clothes. He enters the shop silently, picks up a book, and disappears into thin air. Staff have seen him on quiet afternoons, leaving behind cold air and the smell of old tobacco. The floating books are a mystery too. Without wind or human touch, books slide off shelves or fly across the room. One employee was once hit in the head by a 200-year-old novel. In the back office, the laughing child haunts the staircase. Visitors hear small footsteps and giggles, but there are never any children present. The child's spirit is believed to be from a long-forgotten tragedy in the building's past. The cold room on the upper floor always stays freezing cold, no matter the season. People who enter feel watched, and some leave with unexplained scratches on their arms. Lastly, the shadow in the mirror is seen in a hallway mirror near the entrance. This dark shape stands behind visitors, but when they turn around, no one is there. Jarndyce Bookshop is full of more than just stories written on paper. Ghosts, shadows, and chilling sounds hide between the pages, making it a truly haunted place in the heart of London. Number 2. Hatchards, Piccadilly. Hatchards, the oldest bookshop in London, has stood on Piccadilly since 1797. With over 200 years of history, it's no surprise that the shop is full of ghostly activity and dark secrets. One of the strangest spirits is the whistling gentleman. Late at night, staff hear a cheerful tune echo through the quiet aisles. When they follow the sound, it leads to an empty reading chair that suddenly rocks on its own. In the rare books room, the lady in green velvet is sometimes seen brushing dust from the shelves. She vanishes when approached, but her perfume, an old rose scent, lingers in the air. Some believe she was a wealthy book collector who died waiting for a book delivery that never came. A more frightening spirit is the shelf watcher, a tall figure with no face. He stands at the end of aisles, silently staring. Visitors feel a cold shiver and an urge to leave when he appears. There is also the slammer, a poltergeist who opens and slams the heavy storeroom door. Staff say it happens even when the door is locked, shaking the floor with a loud bang. In the basement, the ink-stained boy roams. His hands and face are smudged with black ink. He reaches for customers with sticky fingers, leaving dark smears on rare books that later fade away. The sixth tale is about the whispering pages. In the history section, people hear faint voices reading from invisible books. Some hear poems. Others hear names being repeated. The books nearby are always closed. Hatchards may be rich with literature and royal history, but beneath its elegant surface, spirits from the past still turn its pages, making it one of the most haunted bookshops in the UK. Number 3. Waterstones, Gower Street. Waterstones, Gower Street, one of the largest bookshops in London, sits quietly near University College London. But behind its many bookshelves and calm reading spaces, strange and frightening events often happen. Many now call it one of the most haunted bookshops in the UK. The vanishing student is the most famous ghost. He appears in the academic section, dressed in 1970s clothing. Witnesses say he's reading, then suddenly vanishes into the shelf, as if swallowed by the books. On the top floor, the elevator ghost causes the lift to travel on its own. Lights flicker, and people feel unseen hands touching their backs. Some hear soft breathing when no one else is inside. The Bleeding Book is a mystery in the horror section. A certain copy of Dracula has been found with red stains on its pages. Staff clean it, but the marks return the next day. No source of the red liquid has ever been found. There's also the floating woman, seen drifting above the staircase late at night. Her feet never touch the ground. Her long hair flows behind her, and her eyes are shut tight. She disappears if you speak or move. In the cafe area, the cold reader is a ghostly woman who orders coffee, then vanishes before she can pay. Staff who try to speak with her say her voice is just a whisper, and her shadow doesn't match her movements. Lastly, the banging bookshelves in the children's section shake violently at night. Toys move on their own, and stuffed animals fall off their shelves. Some believe a child's spirit plays there and doesn't like being alone. Waterstones Gower Street may look bright and peaceful, but under its calm surface, ghosts still read, roam, and make their presence known every day. Number 4. Blackwell's. Blackwell's in Oxford is not just famous for its thousands of books and historic underground Norrington Room. It's also one of the most haunted bookshops in the UK. Beneath its grand academic charm lie dark secrets and ghostly tales that chill even the bravest students. The most whispered about presence is the sobbing scholar, heard late at night in the philosophy section. Soft crying echoes through the stacks. Some say he failed his final exams and took his life nearby. His weeping stops suddenly if you get too close. In the basement, the red-faced professor appears pacing angrily, muttering in Latin. Witnesses say books fall off shelves when he's near, and some have felt pushed if they stand in his path. The ghost of the aisle is a woman in a dark dress, seen rushing between shelves, always clutching an invisible book. No one has ever seen her face. Cameras in the shop often blur when she's nearby. One of the strangest tales is the vanishing ladder. A staff ladder appears in odd places, even when no one moves it. One worker stepped onto it and swore it began to shake before disappearing from beneath him, causing a bad fall. In the poetry section, visitors report hearing dead verses, ghostly voices reciting strange poems that aren't found in any book on the shelf. One customer even copied a line down, only to find it was a long-lost verse from a poet who died young. Finally, in the cafe, the burnt hand spirit leaves steaming palm prints on tables and windows. Nobody knows who it is, but staff avoid the corner table where the hand always appears. Blackwell's might be full of knowledge, but deep inside, it hides shadows, whispers, and spirits who never left the page or the shop. Number 5. The Atlantis Bookshop. The Atlantis Bookshop in London is not like other bookshops. Tucked away near the British Museum, it is known for selling magical, mystical, and occult books since 1922. But this old shop holds more than rare knowledge. Many say it's deeply haunted. The most famous tale is of the Mirror Witch. In the back room, an old mirror once used in rituals shows a woman in black behind those who stand near it. When you turn around, no one is there. Some say she was a practicing witch who vanished after a failed spell. Then there's the Candleman. Late at night, candles light themselves on the shop's altar. Staff report seeing a shadowy figure with no face standing beside them. He vanishes the moment you speak. The Book That Bites is a cursed grimoire that once flew off the shelf and cut a customer's hand. Every time it's placed back, it falls again, always open to the same Latin phrase. Upstairs, the floating cloak moves through the hallway. Visitors feel fabric brush past them, and cold air follows. Some believe it belonged to a secret order member who never left after a ritual went wrong. The Laughing Skull once sat in a glass case. Staff claim to hear it giggle at night. After being moved to storage, the laughter still echoes from the empty shelf it once occupied. Finally, the locked room in the basement unlocks itself. Strange symbols appear on the walls, drawn in chalk by unseen hands. When cleaned off, they return the next day, no matter what. Atlantis Bookshop is more than magical. It's mysteriously alive. The walls remember, the books whisper, and the shadows hide those who once practiced secrets no one dares speak aloud. Number 6. Barter Books. Barter Books in Alnwick is one of the UK's most charming bookshops, set inside an old Victorian railway station. But behind its cozy charm, warm fires, and toy trains lie dark secrets and ghostly tales that have scared visitors for years. The most famous ghost is the station guard. Dressed in an old railway uniform, he's seen walking through the travel section, vanishing when he reaches the platform door that no longer exists. Staff often hear the sound of a whistle blowing, though no one's there. Near the poetry corner, the weeping widow appears, dressed in black, holding a faded letter. She sobs quietly, her tears staining the books near her. When anyone tries to speak to her, she fades into mist. The children in the tunnel are ghostly figures heard giggling near the old station archways. Sometimes, small handprints appear on the frosted windows, even when no children have visited. In the history section, the book thrower haunts the shelves. Books have flown across the room without warning, usually landing open on pages about war or death. One staff member said he felt a strong shove just before a book hit the floor. The fireplace whisperer is a spirit that speaks when people sit by the fire. Visitors report hearing faint whispers in their ears, usually their names or eerie phrases like, "Don't stay too long." Lastly, the shadow in the clock room moves silently across the back wall near the old station clock. It walks slowly, then suddenly disappears. Security footage has captured the movement, always at exactly 3:17 p.m. Barter books may be warm and beautiful on the outside, but deep within, echoes of forgotten passengers, mourners, and restless spirits still roam, trapped in time and between the pages. Number 7. John Smith's Bookshop. John Smith's Bookshop in Glasgow, once a hub of knowledge and student life, is now remembered for its eerie past and terrifying hauntings. Though the original store closed, its spirit, literally, still lingers in Glasgow's memory. One of the most disturbing stories is that of the vanishing assistant, a young woman in a red sweater seen shelving books in the lost section. She smiles politely, then disappears mid-step. Several customers saw her in mirrors, but not in real life. Then there's the burnt man, a figure with scorched skin and a terrible smell of smoke. He appears near the Scottish history shelves, where a fire once broke out decades ago. Witnesses say he screamed silently before vanishing in a flash of light. In the philosophy section, the laughing chair rocks back and forth on its own, often followed by strange, childlike giggling. The chair was removed once, only to appear again the next morning. The ink spiller is a poltergeist blamed for knocking ink bottles off the old counter and ruining rare pages. Cameras once caught pages turning violently and black stains forming on clean paper. In the hidden back office, a cold caller is still heard dialing the old telephone. It rings, but no one is on the other end. When someone picks it up, a deep voice says, "You're next," before the line cuts off. The final tale is the floating receipt, a ghostly strip of paper that flutters in the air, despite no wind. It once landed on a customer's hand, bearing the name of someone who had died years earlier. John Smith's Bookshop may be gone in body, but its ghosts remain deeply rooted in Glasgow's haunted history. Some stories end with a page, but others live forever. Number 8. The Bookshop in Wigtown. The Bookshop in Wigtown, Scotland, is the largest second-hand bookshop in the country. With over a mile of books and hidden rooms, it attracts readers from around the world. But many visitors leave with more than just a book. They leave with a ghost story. One of the most feared spirits is the man in the bowler hat. He's seen in the crime section, standing perfectly still, staring at a wall. If approached, he walks straight into the shelf and disappears. The creaking floor walker roams the top floor. Heavy footsteps echo through the building even when no one is there. One visitor followed the sound, only to find all the doors locked and the room empty. In the poetry room, people have reported the singing woman who hums old Scottish lullabies. Her voice is soft and sad. When staff tried to record her, the device only captured static and faint crying. The staring portrait hangs above the main staircase. At first glance, it's just a painting of a man, but his eyes follow people. Some guests swear they blink or narrow when passed by. Near the children's books, the toy tipper knocks dolls and puzzles off shelves at night. Once, a teddy bear was found in the doorway, its eyes scratched out, though no one had touched it. Finally, the back room whisperer speaks from behind the locked office door. Staff often hear murmurs, pages turning, and someone sighing deeply. When the door is opened, the room is completely still. The bookshop in Wigtown may be a paradise for book lovers, but behind its warm lights and dusty shelves, spirits move, whisper, and wait, trapped in a maze of words and walls. Number 9. Leakey's Bookshop. Leakey's Bookshop in Inverness is one of the most beautiful bookshops in Scotland, filled with rare books, twisting staircases, and the warm scent of old paper. But behind its cozy charm hides something far darker. Many believe it is one of the most haunted bookshops in the UK. The most well-known spirit is the Fire Watcher, a ghostly figure seen standing near the large wood-burning stove. Staff have spotted him staring into the flames, motionless. He vanishes when approached, leaving the smell of burnt cloth in the air. Up in the gallery, the turning lady is seen slowly spinning in place, her back always facing the observer. Some say she was a teacher who went mad while reading a cursed book. If you look too long, you may feel dizzy and faint. Books near the central spiral staircase sometimes fall open to the same page. This is blamed on the whispering minister, who once preached in the church before it became a bookshop. His voice is soft, repeating old sermons no one remembers. The shadow in the rafters watches from above. It moves like smoke and follows visitors from beam to beam. People say they feel a tightness in their chest when it's near. In the mythology section, the page scratcher makes thin cuts in the paper, as if clawed by an animal. No insects or mice are found, only torn pages and soft scratching sounds at night. And finally, the crying penman is heard late in the evening, the sound of furious writing echoing through empty rooms. When searched, no one is there, but ink stains are often found on freshly cleaned desks. Leakey's Bookshop is a place of wonder, but every book, every creak, may carry the breath of something not quite human. Number 10. Waterstones. Waterstones in Edinburgh's West End is a grand, beautiful bookshop. But beneath its calm surface lies something strange. Many believe it is one of the most haunted bookshops in the UK, with ghost stories that continue to grow with each passing year. The most famous spirit is the gray-coated reader, often seen in the fiction section. He wears an old-fashioned overcoat and reads the same book for hours. When someone tries to speak to him, he simply fades into the shelf. In the stairwell, people have seen the climbing girl, a barefoot child with tangled hair who silently walks up the stairs, then disappears halfway. Some staff members have felt her cold hand brush against theirs. The crashing shelf is another mystery. In the travel section, a bookcase once collapsed without reason. Since then, books fly off it when no one is near. It's said the shelf is cursed by a lost soul who never found his way home. Late in the evening, the woman in the glass appears in the windows. Her face shows only sadness. Staff have caught her reflection, but she's never seen from the street. Some believe she once lived in the building before it became a shop. The rustling coats are heard in the cloakroom, despite no coats hanging. Visitors hear hangers move, footsteps shuffle, and the soft thud of invisible items being dropped. Finally, the Latin voice echoes through the non-fiction section. A deep voice speaks in Latin, even when no one is around. One customer recorded it, only to find the file corrupted and his phone drained of power. Waterstones West End is a place of literature and learning, but in its corners linger whispers, shadows, and the lost voices of Edinburgh's ghostly past.